This is a quick review of the Leatherman Skeletool CX multi-tool. The CX is basically a carbon fiber clad version of this standard Skeletool. It's not a ton of carbon fiber, you can see it over here. It's just kind of a slightly cooler version than the normal one. I think it's a little bit lighter, but it doesn't actually make too much of a difference. Retail price for this one is about $80, and it's hard to find it for much less than that because this one is one of the more in-demand models from Leatherman, and then people really do like that carbon fiber. So finding it used, you're not even gonna get a great deal on it. This is what Leatherman calls a 7-tool device. So you have your needle nose pliers at the top, your regular pliers, which is right here. Then you have your wire cutter, which is right here. Then you have your hard wire cutter, which is that little groove right there where you would put the hard wire. It's right that little cutout area. Then you have right here, a flip out 154 cm. So that's the type of stainless steel blade. The Skeletool primarily has the flat blade, not a serrated blade or half serrated blade that they call a combo blade, but some models do have that. So you can find that combo blade if you prefer. Then with this tool, you also have a carabiner right here, this little carabiner clip. Mine's a little bit worn out, but you can certainly clip it onto things. Also, as you can see here, acts as a bottle opener if you want. They don't count that as being a separate tool, but it certainly can be used for that. And then you have your screwdriver, but they really call it a bit driver because you can change what you do with it. Here you have a Phillips end, and there's a little button right here you could push to unlock it. Although as it gets older, you don't really have to push the button, you could just pull it. But then you have a large Phillips over here, so you just flip it, locks in place, and then it has a sort of little secondary hidden blade or screwdriver blade right here. So you pop that one out and you have your two flatheads. Both of them are actually rather large, so you don't have a small flathead, but you definitely do have your flathead there. And you could put that in and out of the bit driver the same way you do, just like that. So that's the Skeletool, that's the basics. It comes in black and a few other colors, as is standard with Leatherman. You can get it customized if you want. You'll have less options with the CX, but there are some options. The basic specifications of this are pretty solid. It's 4 inches when it's closed, which is, I would say, a nice size for Leatherman. Open, it's 6 inches, and that's if you have it in plier mode. You'll see that when you're in plier mode, you have access to the screwdriver and the bit driver, but then when you close it, you no longer have access to the screwdriver. So a lot of the Leathermans, you'll pop it, screwdriver would come out from here, you'd pop it open, you'd be able to use it like a primary screwdriver. Here, that's not an option because it's hidden here. So you can use it like this and get a little torque. You can use it like this as a screwdriver. You could open it straight. Any way you cut it, it's a little bit awkward to use as a screwdriver, which is maybe not a big deal for you, but if you're primarily using it as a screwdriver, or a lot of your Leatherman use is with a screwdriver, then the Skeletool is not really going to be an ideal design. Back to the specs, it has a 2.6 inch 154 cm blade. So it's a little confusing. It's not 154 centimeters long. It's not 15.5 centimeters long. It's made of 154 cm steel, and it's 2.6 inches long, or that is right at 6.6 centimeters. Weight is 5 ounces. That's about 140 grams. So it's definitely on the lighter side, which is nice. And then thickness is 1/2 inch, and that's not counting your pocket clip. So it does have a metal pocket clip there, and the clip of that is the clip, and actually a bunch of design elements are very similar to what you would see in this one. This is called the Freestyle. It's a smaller design, less tools. It's really just 2 tools. You have your pliers and then a fold out blade. but the Skeletool has the bit driver and the carabiner part, where the Freestyle only has the blade and the pliers. So Skeletool is similar, but has a few more functions. And the main thing for most people is going to be that you get some sort of screwdriver device. In this case, you have a 4-in-1 screwdriver, which is quite functional. The Freestyle has none of that. So whereas you may like the Freestyle, the lack of the screwdriver is going to be a major problem for a lot of people. The screwdrivers, if you're curious, you have a Phillips number 1, a Phillips number 2, and then a 1/4 inch and a 3/16 inch flat blade. So there's your options there. As far as the Skeletool CX goes, I would say I like it a lot. As far as like what I need out of a tool, this is my favorite Leatherman because I don't need a whole lot of functions. I need something, or I want something that's light. I always want to see a blade on a Leatherman. I always want to see a really good set of pliers, which this pair has. And then I always need some sort of screwdriver. And that, for me, is the set. All the other things, they're nice to haves, but when it becomes a trade-off of extra weight and extra thickness versus extra tools, I tend to go for something more stripped down like this one. I know for a lot of people, they're going to want a whole bunch more tools, and the Skeletool is not going to be right for them. So that makes total sense, in the same way that the Freestyle lacks the screwdriver, so it's not right for me. So I really do like the Skeletool overall. As far as the CX goes, again, it's cool that you have some carbon fiber. It looks really nice. It makes it a little kind of little shiny there. It seems to be really well done. The structure of the carbon fiber, it hasn't broken. I don't know what else to say about it, except it's like pretty cool that it's there and it saves a little bit of weight. All that's great. It does drive the price up a fair bit. I think this one is an $80 retail price instead of a $60 retail price. So definitely a little bit of a difference there, but honestly not a huge difference functionally, or basically no difference functionally. So for me, I ended up getting the CX, but if I were to lose this one or break it or something like that, I would probably just get the Skeletool next time, because the carbon fiber, while cool, doesn't really do anything functionally. This device, it does have a little bit of flex there, you could see. So it's not like it's completely bomb-proof or overbuilt or anything like that. I haven't had any problems with mine. It clearly has a fair bit of use, so I think it's a really good multi-tool, but the carbon doesn't really do anything special for you. So that is a Skeletool CX, quite nice, maybe slightly overrated as far as the Leatherman tools go, and I would recommend you check out the standard Skeletool unless you just want something a little bit fancy, or you're using it as a gift or something like that. So definitely highly recommended Skeletool.